What we are about to do next is to automate our business process, and it's very simple. To do this, we will make the corresponding configurations step by step. This activity, approval number 1, will be a user task, and its basic configuration will be a subject for the task. And here we can use tags, for example the name of the flow, which can help us identify the application that we're working with. To do this, we must go to System Data and select Flow Name. The addressee of this task will be approver number 1. We can define the responses of this task, for example, yes and no. We could set the responses to be presented as a list of buttons. We can set whether a comment is required for each particular response. For example, we can ask for a comment in the case that the application is rejected. And we can also set if this is a final or partial response. And in this case, both would be final. As for the comments, we must go into the comment scope section and allow them to be added and viewed. Our next step will be to configure the evaluation, this exclusive gateway. Here, we basically have a gateway that has two connections, with approval number 2 and the rejection notification. When we open the gateway configuration, we will have to give it a name, for example, evaluation number 1. Now we must decide which logic to apply to go to approval number 2 and to go to the rejection notification. For the approval connection, we can start by defining that in the task approval number 1, some user has responded yes, which is one of the responses that we configured. For the rejection notification, we will apply a similar logic, but the response of the previous task must be no. And that will be all for this gateway. We will now configure approval number 2. Again, this will be a user task. We will give it a subject. We will define the addressee of this task, which is approver number 2. We would add final responses, and here we can choose whatever text we want for the response, for example, approved and rejected. In the same way as with the previous approval, we can require comments in the case of rejection. We can display the responses as buttons, and on the comment scope, we can allow addition and viewing the comment history. Now let's look at the rejection notification. This task will be a user notification task. Going into the configuration, this task will be easier to configure. All we need to do is set a subject for the notification, and by using tags, we can identify the application by its name. Or we can use the flow correlative ID, which is a sequential unique number that identifies the flow. This notification will be sent to the applicant. At a scope level, we will allow the recipient to see the comment history. We must now configure the second evaluation, but there is going to be one difference. We will set this connection as the default connection. We do this so that when we configure the second evaluation, which we will name evaluation number 2, we only have to fill the condition for the approval, and the other path will be taken if this condition is not met. We will say that in approval number 2, the response was approved, and then it continues to notify approval. For the second rejection notification task, we will do the same thing we did before. First, we set it as a user notification task. We add a subject, a recipient, and we will allow viewing the comment history so that the user will know why their application was rejected. And in the case of the approved application, we will make another user notification task. We can add a subject saying that the application was approved, and we can add the identifier. It will be directed to the applicant. And finally, we can allow viewing the comment log. just in case someone needed to add a comment during the approval process. And with this being done, we have finished the configuration of our flow template.